Today's news that the South African economy is back and recession could be worse than going just into recession once again raises the spectre of a full downgrade to junk and further hardship for all of us. Maarten Ackerman is chief economist and advisory partner at Citadel. You sent that warning today, Maarten. Why are we on the brink of a potential downgrade?
Yes, Bruce. I think, the rating agency said that the big thing that we need to get right is to get the economy going. Because obviously if you can get some economic growth, then all the other issues basically fall into place. So with economic growth, there will be higher tax collection. That will put less strain on your fiscal targets. And where we are now, year to date, we're sitting with a negative number. We're in a technical recession, meaning we have two negative quarters. So we're far away from a 1.5 that the government assumed in the February budget. So I think come next month with the medium-term budget policy, there need to be significant downward adjustments to our GDP growth number, which will imply that, most of the debt metrics will look much, much worse. And then there's a couple of things that we haven't even spoke about in February, and that's like the more than inflation increases for the public sector that also needs to come into this budget, national health insurance, and the stimulation package that President Cyril Ramaphosa is talking about. So if you add all of those things together, then the situation is going to look much worse than February, and therefore I do think the rating agencies will sit up and pay attention in terms of the way forward.
And the rating agencies must be looking at, it's only a small number, but it's an interesting move, and it's an ideological move. And it may be a move that is the straw that breaks the camel's back. And that is the 200 million rand it's going to cost this month to subsidize the petrol price, which should have gone up at midnight tonight by about 25 cents a litre and will go up by just 5 cents to cover the wage increases for petrol pump attendants. We're now messing with market fundamentals when it comes to the oil price and the currency. And today we saw the oil price close to $80 a barrel, and we saw the rand weaken by 3%. We're taking big bets, and our bets are going against us.
Yes, I think, you're 100% right that you could probably do something on the increase tonight, but the wave is just building even further. So I'm not sure we've got the reserves to keep on doing this with more hikes probably in the pipeline. And this is just an environment that is quite difficult for consumers because it's not just much higher petrol price, but also we've seen in today's numbers, the impact from the increase in VAT, other tax increases, and the fact that a lot of social grants didn't adjust in line with inflation. So your household expenditure dropped also 1.3%, which is very, very negative for a consumer-based economy like South Africa. So we are we've been in a tight corner in terms of finding additional sources to cover all the expenditure, and the expenditure is not really declining at this point in time, and that's why I do think weak growth is a major warning light for the rating agencies at this point in time.
Is there any reason for Moody's to keep us on investment grade? Shouldn't they be downgrading us? Don't we need that to happen? It sounds self-defeating. It's like needing a hiding. It's something nobody needs. But do we not need some tough medicine to shake us out of our stupor?
Well, I think, if you compare some of our metrics to our peer group, which is already sub-investment grade, then yes, you're 100% right. We should actually be downgraded. However, I do think we've seen some very positive changes since the beginning of this year, and the very weak growth year to date is actually, we can't really fault the current government for that. That's legacy stuff, 10 years of mismanagement and corruption. And we are doing the right things, but it will take time, in terms of changing policy, changing boards at state and enterprises, and maybe on that kind of promise of some changes that's in the pipeline that will result in better real numbers down the line. That's why I'm saying the rating agencies might just say, well, let's just see what the plan is in October and give us a little bit of a benefit of the doubt and give us some time to recover. Because I do think, what is taking place right now is moving in the right direction, but the results will probably only be visible months or years from now.
My thanks for that sober perspective this evening. Maarten Ackerman, who is the chief economist and advisory partner at Citadel.